Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first time head poet. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We're going to start with the Boston Celtics. Best, and oh, look at Uncle Joe rocking that. Is that a new hoodie?
No, I've got a bunch of them.
Okay, geez, look at he's got all green today.
I happen to like Kelly Green anyways.
Getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. Look, Celtics are best team in basketball. They established that again with a 9-game winning streak after losing that game against the Lakers. We always start with the professor. Professor, I would say that this team, I just said it off the air, lots of comparison. They have the same record after what X amount of games as the 2018. But this team reminds me of the 86 team. They can press on the accelerator anytime they want and basically blow a team out.
Yeah, when you have a team that's in the top three on offense and defense, you turn one on and the other picks up and it's over. There's no team in the NBA, maybe other than Denver, can withstand, the Celtics operating at a high level on both ends of the court.
Yeah. Joe, it seems like the Knicks game this week, the Sixers game, I know there was players missing on both of those teams, but our depth is so much greater than even teams that would compete against us in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, and I think you're going to see more of it. I think now towards the end of the season, you're going to start seeing the bench playing even more than they played previously. And they played a lot this year comparatively to the last couple of years. But to augment what Russ just said, the Celtics are number one in offensive efficiency in the league and number two right now in defensive efficiency. They were three, but now they're number two. But we have been playing some weaker opponents of late. So maybe that, but still top three in both, you can't beat that. That's a tough combination.
To me, the weakness it rears its ugly head. Almost every game is the defensive rebounding. I know statistically that we're strong in the defensive rebound, but to me, the eye test says that it's still something that needs to be tightened up.
I got to be honest, Scotty. I haven't really focused on the defensive rebounding.
They're number one in the league, Tim, but just doesn't look that way.
No, I mean, no. I mean, that's a big part to me. I mean, these teams are getting tons of extra
second chances. Yeah.
I
mean, that's
some of those could be, the ball's bouncing deeper out than typical. Maybe I did notice. I was kind of focusing on Drew Holiday. He's boxing out on every shot. I know. That's what it comes down to is boxing out when the shot's in the air.
Yeah, no,
doing it statistically. Doing the correct thing that you're supposed to box out. And I didn't think they were that bad. They weren't that bad against Philly. I don't think.
I don't know.
But also Philly didn't have Embiid.
Yeah. Russ, does it seem like when these teams make runs against us, it's a lot of second and third shots?
Yeah, teams make runs against us when we turn it over, when we give up offensive rebounds. But the Celtics are the top defensive rebounding team in the NBA.
Yep.
So there are nights it feels like we're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds, but we don't really give up that many. Our turnovers are middle of the pack. Those runs usually are based on some weird turnovers.
You know what I'll tell you shocked me? We were up by 11, and we went down and we missed 3 shots, and they hit 3 3-pointers in a row. Boy, an 11-point lead evaporates quick in this league these days.
30 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It was just gone in like a blink with this 3-point shooting now.
Oh, yeah. But these guys are really good. I'm telling you, every time I watch the Celtics game or any NBA game, these guys are really good.
That Philly team, Tyrese Maxey scares the crap. You know what? He's Marcus Smart on defense. He's just – I know he's not a popular guy. I would take him any day. He is a freaking pest.
He's popular. I mean, he's getting a lot of. He'll be the
gets a lot of love
from the other players too.
Yeah.
An all-star. That was an
He
all-star.
is a pest. He just picked Brown's pocket a few times. Brown was lackadaisical around him a few times. I tell you, Maxey and Embiid, that's a tough duo to go against. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
Maxey was keeping them in there all by himself. You
Yeah.
throw Joel Embiid into that mix.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that-
Russ has been belaboring this point is these small, fast, quick guards
Yeah.
are the nemesis of the Celtics.
It's a one sort of weak spot because our defensive guards are so good. Holiday and
And
White are so good, but they're big defensive guards, right? They play up really well,
play a
but
muscle game.
Maxey, Brunson, Garland, Dame,
Yeah.
you know, it's
McCollum.
hard to keep those guys in front of them. It just is.
Yeah, Brunson has his way with us also. I mean, and these guys are really good. They're really good shooters, and they play well against the Celtics.
You know, it shows you Maxey. I think I read he was the 21st pick in the draft.
Yeah.
You can get guys.
Did we have a chance to get Maxey, draft him?
I think he went.
2 in front of us?
Yeah, I think that was the year they drafted Grant Williams, I think. A little couple after him. It was a funny year. It was, I can't
He
remember.
was 2020 for 2020 draft. 21st pick.
Did,
He's
did
only,
we pick
this is only
before
his
that?
third or fourth year in the league now, right?
Wait,
Yeah,
that's
he's probably the 4th or 5th point guard taken, I bet.
wait,
too.
that's the draft we screwed up, right? The Grant Williams one?
Oh, Grant Williams around longer than that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
This
don't
is
know.
2020. It's only 20,
Yeah.
just turned
Grant's on his
2024.
second contract. Maxey's gonna get his big.
I
big
don't
money.
know. That's the one where we screwed up. We took the Carson Edwards and the Trey Waters.
Trey Edwards.
I can look at the 2020 Celtics.
Yeah, I mean,
draft.
I just, I hate to look for the 21st pick in the draft to be a top, I don't know, 20 player for sure in the NBA. That's a pretty good return.
Yeah, it happens from time to time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Celtics drafted Neesmith. But look, a bunch of teams, 20
Yeah.
teams passed on Maxey.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And
I guess
Neesmith,
they
by
say,
the
yeah,
way,
Good, looks good with
yeah,
Indiana
Harris,
now.
start right, Joe. The hysterical thing is Neesmith's probably, you take a look at this draft, Neesmith's in the top 7 in terms of successful players in this draft.
Yeah, they said Calipari didn't use Maxey correctly and didn't showcase his abilities at Kentucky.
Well, we obviously traded Malcolm Brogdon, but I mean, kind of Indiana won that deal, if it turns out, right? Brogdon was only a 1-year rental, and Neesmith's a rotational player for the Pacers.
Yep.
And a gadfly against the Celtics. Jeez.
Yeah.
If he played like that against everyone else, he'd be an all-star.
So Russ shared something with us today, an interview with Wick Grossbeck, the owner of the Celtics, and talked about when the season ended last year. Well, Russ, why don't you tell us what?
Yeah, Wick said, you know, I let Brad and Joe know that we weren't going to bring the same team back, that we were not consistent enough. The highs were highs, the lows were low. We lost to 2 teams, Golden State, Miami, good teams, but we weren't going to bring the same team back. Good for him. I mean, that's
you
what
interpret
want to
that meaning Marcus Smart?
I don't think then he said, look, I didn't think we were going to get Kristaps or Drew Holiday. I don't think he knew. I don't think he said get rid of Marcus, but like when you say I'm not going to bring the same team back, your 2 choices are trade Jaylen Brown or trade Marcus Smart pretty much.
Well, and they traded the 2 oldest guys, Marcus and Brogdon.
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
It was that's just leadership right there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the right now the best owner in the 4 major sports here in Boston. Would you agree?
So,
You know, we all kind of felt that though, didn't we? We had reached a kind of a level with that team. They weren't going to get over the hump as constituted where they were. Something had to change. But it was nobody knew what had to change, but something had to change.
Yeah,
It was more than
definition of
just talent.
insanity.
But it's more than just talent. Would you agree? I feel like they had enough talent to win a finals and a championship, but they didn't have that whatever.
Yeah, they
Mental
couldn't
toughness.
quite. he couldn't get over the hump. And you can talk about you can do all the psychological sort of analysis that you want. The bottom line is they didn't have enough options at the end of games. And if you stopped, you basically put the Celtics into ISOs and they had a hard time scoring, and Porzingis has changed everything.
Well, we know what they wanted to do. They wanted to get the ball in Marcus Smart's hands. That's why Marcus always had to take the big shot, because the other teams would plan it that way.
And Marcus was terrible in the clutch.
Yeah,
Terrible.
he wasn't even have the skills for that role.
I don't know
So
if
you
you
needed a
noticed,
guy who could finish, you know.
I don't know if you noticed the Sixers game. All of a sudden, the Sixers just went quickly into a zone, and KP immediately went to the free throw line. They knew exactly how to handle that. And last year, the zone killed them against the Heat, and that's why they didn't make it to the finals. They couldn't handle the zone.
That
Rob
breaks the
Williams
zone.
was so offensively limited, you know.
Well, Rob Williams is not a modern day player, because
No, but he was on the court quite. Yeah, I know, because you got to be able to shoot threes now. As a 7-footer, you still got to shoot threes.
Right.
And how many opportunities now is there to be a rim protector?
It's nice to have one.
Well, KP gets called for 3 seconds an awful lot. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
right. But I mean, again,
that's his game. Be a rim protector.
who
he does
takes Jokic in a 7-game series? How do we defend a speed or a big guy?
So it's a great question. And, the next 5 games are just going to be fun as hell, because you have Dallas and Luka. You've got Golden State on Sunday with Steph. You've got Cleveland, and then you've got Denver and I think Phoenix. And you take a look, and I think the most interesting thing over the next week is to see, Scotty, how they defend these high-end offensive players. Like Luka, are you trying to double him? Are you doubling Murray, or are you just playing Luka straight up? And I think, what they've always done against Embiid is throw a lot of different things at him. And I think that's probably what they would do against the Joker.
Yeah. Is it really about trying to push them out as far as they can to make them shoot outside 3-pointers? And
I think it's everything. You can't just do one thing with those guys. You've got to switch up, and you just got to throw a bunch of different stuff at them.
It's different for everyone, because like someone like Embiid or Giannis, you get the off the ball defenders to set up in the lane and take that charge. And we lost our 2 best at that, in Blake Griffin and Marcus Smart. White is great at it too, don't get me wrong, but you can't have one guy taking those big guys on.
is Cornette? He's tall enough, but he's not strong enough, right?
No, you'll see. I mean, be really interesting to see if they break Tillman out in Denver, and against Cleveland, which
I'd really like to see more.
Right? Like real bigs.
Yeah. Does he kind of replace Grant Williams?
Could be.
I think he's better.
Yeah, he should be. I hope so.
Just lean on him and bang him the whole game.
Yeah.
We'll try to wear him down.
I mean,
if Jokic, you try to double up Jokic, he's just gonna pass the ball, and you're gonna get punished all night.
Well, Murray's sitting there waiting for it.
I just want to finish up with the Wick story. I'm pretty sure Grant Williams, though, was mentioned that he wasn't going to pay Grant Williams another dime in a Boston Celtics uniform.
You know how pleasant it was to be at the game the other night and not have to watch Grant Williams like just yap the whole game. It was just pleasant to not have to watch him, because that's what I would typically sit there and go, shut the F up the whole game,
Well, how come he can always get away with it? And Tatum says one thing, they tee him up every time, it seems. He must have a very poor choice of
Maybe
words.
what he was saying was, you're very handsome, you have beautiful children.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, you can't get away from the fact that, and by the way, some of it's luck, right? But Brad moved. The only one that he moved of the 4 of them who has had any sort of a year is Brogdon.
Yeah.
Smart's been injured. Williams, Rob's been injured, and Grant's already been traded.
I mean, kicked out the door.
Right?
And
Is Brogdon starting? Is Brogdon starting?
Yeah, he's having a
The first
pretty
off,
good
he-
year,
He
too.
started a lot.
oh, he's
Yeah,
played well. I
started.
didn't.
Yeah, he's
I
been
mean,
playing very well.
He was smooth as silk. You know?
He had a
Smooth
great
player.
winning shot a week ago. Last second, beat a good team. I forget who.
Well,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
he was a
mind
great
still
player
having
for
him.
us.
I wouldn't mind having him around, but hey, we had to do what we had to do, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
You can't have everyone in the league.
how much would Brogdon even play at this point? I mean, because then you'd have to be sitting all
Well,
day.
he wouldn't look bad. I'd take Brogdon over Pritchard any day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
you can only pay so many, though. Brogdon
Yeah.
got top dollar.
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
House has really developed this year. I feel like even defensively, I don't think he's a liability on the court. And
No, he
I'll
works
tell you,
hard.
Scott. Yeah, he works really hard on defense,
Yeah.
really hard.
And
And you know,
the
I was
refs are miserable to him.
I was just bashing Pritchard. Pritchard works his ass off out there on defense.
Player on Daniel Jones.
But House has got some size to him, and he's well-built kid. I mean, he doesn't get pushed around at all.
No, the size is a big deal, right? And he's long enough. So yeah, look, I think the bottom line is you couldn't be sitting here in any better shape. 8 games up in the East, healthy and
No one
able
on
to
the
work on
injury
stuff, able to work on stuff down the stretch and just try different things, right?
Are we still worried about this reliance on the three?
No,
No.
they just
Well,
showed you the last
didn't the
2
Philly
games.
game teach you? Philly threw 4 guards at him. You couldn't shoot from the outside. What were they, like 1 for 14? So they packed it in, went in.
Yeah,
had
it was
about
almost like they
70 points
intentionally
in the
wanted to
paint.
show the world, hey, we can do it this way too.
70
And
points
by
in
the
the
way, they did the
paint.
same thing. They did the same thing to the Knicks in the first half.
Yeah.
On Saturday, right? Like they're really good 3-point shooters. By the way, like that Philly game is why you do want to be able to shoot 3. By the way, that Philly game late into the fourth quarter was a 2-point game. And
Yeah,
Philly
it was a
had the
game.
ball. And you want to know why it was a 2-point game? Because the Celtics weren't making threes.
Yeah.
Plus Philly. I looked up at the board one time. Philly shot like twice as many threes as the Celtics.
That's my point. Like the math of it is it's really, really hard to win an NBA game these days when you make 5 threes. The math just doesn't work.
And that was part of the alienate because they didn't take much.
Well, their record
Yeah, they
when
didn't
they
take
don't
many.
make
They
a
took
certain
whatever,
amount of
20,
threes
something like that.
is very poor.
But I looked up when Philly had shot twice as many threes as the Celtics. The Celtics were still leading by 3 points at the time. So.
But when
Right.
the Celtics go in, when the Celtics shoot 2-pointers, they're generally layups. If you notice,
Well, yeah, I mean,
They get a lot of transition stuff and a
Yeah.
lot of layups.
there's 3 things you want to do in NBA basketball these days. You want to shoot 3-pointers, get the ball to the rim, and take foul shots. Everything else is less good.
You know what I noticed now?
yeah, right.
Tatum gets the call every time now, taking it to the hoop. He's reached that superstar status where he's going to get the call every time he goes to the hoop.
He's so strong. He's so freaking strong. I mean, when we always talk about young players, if they pack 15, 20 pounds in the next few years, this is exactly what happened.
What he's doing now, he's seeking contact. He's looking for contact now when he goes to the hoop. He seeks it out. He'll lean into the guy. He'll see a body part of the defender, and he'll hit that body part.
Yep.
And a lot of players
that
don't
way
want
you get the 2 shots if you don't get the basket. So it's almost a guarantee.
This is the NBA. They don't want to make contact with a big, strong guy. They want to save themselves for when they get the ball.
But he seeks it out now. He's the one looking to get the contact.
Right.
He's Kobe Bryant. His game reminds.
Well, but he's so big though, Scotty. Like he's a power forward who is also can play
6'10".
point guard.
Yeah.
Right, but
He's huge.
I know
6'10" and wide shoulders.
Brian was like 6'4", 6'5". This guy is 6'10".
Is he 6'10"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
grown.
always thought he was 6'8" for some reason.
No, he grew. I think he grew
As a
too.
rookie, he was, Tim. He's listed at 6'10" now.
Wow.
6'10" and a half, I think I saw on the Celtics.
Wow.
Markel Fultz and Ball. Lorenzo
Yeah.
Ball. were drafted ahead of Jason Tatum. Oh my God.
I mean, I knew he was the best guy in the draft. So how do these? I don't know how that happened, but I knew.
Markel Fultz is the one that really astounds me, that he was a consensus number one.
Yes, yes.
I
And
mean,
what
everyone
shocked-
who was
You know
anyone
what
in
shocked me
basketball.
about that? His team never made it to the twos. On losing teams every time. Larry Bird
What was he,
took
Washington?
Indiana State to the finals. You know what I mean?
Right.
By himself. If you're a great player, your team wins.
Well, that was the time when like the point guard was the sexy position in the NBA.
Kyrie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when
So they
got
everybody
Kyrie.
wanted everything, the guy, point guard that could shoot and stuff. But Joe, you're right. It was never a question who was number one. That's why Ainge made the deal.
Yeah,
That's why he traded down, because
kind of
he
reminiscent.
didn't
of
want
the
him anyways.
Kind of reminiscent of the Kevin McHale trade.
Oh my God, yeah, nice callback. That's right, exactly.
Red knew who he wanted out of that draft.
Yeah, but they got Robert Parrish and McHale on that draft.
And then Golden State
Out
got
of
Joe
that
Gary
team.
Carroll,
Who?
right?
For Rick Roby, right?
No, Rick Roby
No.
was for Dennis
For
Johnson.
the number
That's
one
right.
pick.
Okay.
For the
Who
number
do we
one
trade?
overall
Who
pick.
do we trade to get that?
The number one
get-
overall pick for number 3.
Number one overall.
And Joe
pick.
and
And we got
and
Parrish and 3, and he knew he wanted McHale the whole time.
Yeah.
Golden State. Who went second in it? Was it Griffith?
Daryl Griffith, I think.
Yeah. So
Who
they-
had a
I
good
remember,
career.
my high school teacher was the Caps Memorial basketball coach, and Ronnie Perry went to that Parade All-American game. And my teacher came back raving about Daryl Griffith.
yeah, well, he was great out of Louisville, right?
Oh, he was Dr. Dunk. That's
He
what
was
they called him in
amazing.
high school.
What did he play for?
could
Utah?
jump
He was
out.
amazing.
I don't know, but he could jump out of the stadium. He had hops, boy.
That's for sure. All right, boys, we're gonna go to the New England Patriots. There is just more rumors and things. First of all, we have to focus on the franchise tag, Duger or Wendy.
Didn't they say? Someone said they're offering Duger a contract today.
Yeah,
Contract,
of course they
yeah.
are. Yeah.
So does that kind of mean they're not going to franchise him?
No, if he won't sign it, they'll franchise him.
No, they got a franchise. They can only franchise one. Who
Only one guy.
Wendy or Duger?
I would say franchise the the offensive lineman. What are they,
Yeah.
crazy?
Right, exactly.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Duger's a nice player, but I mean, I don't know if I'll miss him.
No.
No,
Yeah, let the Belichick kid, get work with the safeties again.
yeah, right.
Develop more safeties.
Yeah. Look, now all of a sudden the rumors are that they're not trading any third pick in the draft. They're just going to take the best quarterback left of the 3.
Yeah.
No, they're not
Yeah.
going to do that.
Yes, they are.
They
They're
might
gonna take
trade.
whatever-
They might do. They're just going to take. They're going to wait and see how things unfold.
Oh, they're going to take the quarterback who falls to them, Joe.
What if
That
it's
was
Jaden
started.
Daniels, who's probably not going to be very good?
Oh, I don't know about that. Why?
You're disagreeing with almost everybody who's analyzing these quarterbacks
Yeah.
right now. So.
I like.
I've
I
read a
like
lot of
that.
scouting
But
reports. They
we
got
don't
this
know
kid
what
pretty
Caleb
highly
Williams is going to do. Is he's still asking for? They had to write a special rule this week. The NFL owners that only family members could have, own part of the team, so that he couldn't make that demand. He's been demanding. If I was the Bears, I'd say go screw you.
Well, that's what the rumor is right now. That's not a fait accompli. That
Right.
will be picked first now because of the off-field issues of
And
just
he
being-
says he'll make just as much money with an NIL going back to school.
No, Joe, he's not threatening that now. No, that's Pat. I know he did say that. I agree with you, Joe. But he's not. I read something today. He said he's going to go to whatever team draft him. He's going to be very happy. But the Bears are throwing it out there that they may not pick Williams first.
It's all silly stuff
Yeah,
right now.
that's just
it's
to
all-
get people
No
to
one's going
make a
to
bad
tell
move.
it's in nobody's best interest to say anything publicly that's the truth right now.
Right.
Literally.
It's in the Bears' best interest to say they might not take him. The
Absolutely.
phone starts ringing, and
Absolutely.
God knows what's at the other end,
Totally.
right?
Then the Raiders add another first round pick to the mix in their offer to them.
Yeah. Who? All right. It's what? When's it? April what? What's the date of the draft? It's mid-April. Is that right? Mid-April.
It's usually the second week of April.
All right.
The combine is right now, by the way.
Okay, we got it. We're in the prediction business, boys. Russell, who are the Patriots taking?
Well, I mean, Patriots are going to take whatever quarterback falls to them, and so it feels like maybe it's going to either be Daniels or May. Someone's taking Caleb Williams first or second.
Yeah, I think we end up with May.
May. All right. So May, Russell, May, Timmy, Joe.
I'll go with the classic trade down for more picks.
No.
Okay.
And they'll be able to justify it just like they always have, saying, look at the haul we're gonna get, you know.
No
Grab
way.
grab JJ McCarthy, and I wonder how far he falls.
No, they want Buzz. They want Buzz, Joe. They
Yeah.
want Buzz of a third pick in the draft.
They're not as desperate for season ticket holders like teams like the Chargers or the Panthers are. They can last another year. I'm not sold on these quarterbacks. I can wait till next year. I don't mind a bad year.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
what
gotta
if
tell
you
you,
have
a bridge
next
year.
What
a
if
lot of
you win?
a lot of people are saying this is the best quarterback class in a while.
Yeah, it is,
Well-
but it's still not great. There haven't been any.
But Joe, like the bottom had to drop out of everything for them to end up in third, and there were three things that had to happen on the last day. They win 6 games next year, and they're going to end up with the 8th pick, for God's sakes. They're not going to have a chance
Yeah.
to get one of the
Well,
top 3
you-
quarterbacks in the draft.
You really don't know. And maybe the
Yeah.
quarterback they like best is someone they can get in the second round or third round.
Then
Well, then fine. By the way, if they
Yeah,
decide
this
that,
new he's not the GM yet, but the one looks like the GM in waiting, Elliot Wolf there. Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers late. He was involved in drafting. He wasn't the GM in those situations, but he was on the staffs, drafting both of them late,
I
not
know,
in the
but-
top 20.
I get that, but they were a good team, right? And
That's
why
Brett
they
Favre, and then they had Aaron Rodgers.
So,
Yeah.
but
They drafted.
here's the thing: if Elliot Wolf wants to keep his job, the best thing that for him to do is pick whatever quarterback lands on third. He's
Yeah.
not getting fired for picking the
Oh, yeah.
quarterback.
He won't get blamed. I
He
mean,
won't.
he won't get blamed.
You trade down and pick JJ McCarthy, and he blows. That's
Yep,
it. That's
yep.
the last GM job.
Oh,
you're
and
getting.
and the third guy turns out great. Like, look at all these guys that didn't draft Mahomes before 10. They all lost their jobs.
Look, all three of these guys are very good quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Whether they adjust to the NFL, who knows? But they're very good You have to take a very good quarterback and see what happens. I mean, and
Scotty,
possibly
can I
all
ask
three
you
of
a
them will be
question?
good.
Scotty, let me
Now,
ask you a question.
I didn't see much of May. Is he elusive? Can he
Yeah.
create extra time?
He's every bit as fast as the other two, and
Okay.
he's athletic, but he's quite a bit bigger than Daniels. He's like 25
Yeah.
pounds bigger and a couple inches
Right.
taller, which is what the pros like.
Scotty, 2 weeks ago, you would have, I think we were talking about this, and your position was you were going to be extremely disappointed if it wasn't Daniels, like really, really disappointed. Do you still feel that way?
I do, though. I think we've never had a quarterback like Daniels ever.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
love running quarterbacks. I mean,
What if Caleb Williams is available?
well, of course you're taking Caleb Williams. I mean, there's no chance that he slides to 3. No chance of it.
No.
But I actually kind of enjoyed the Matt Cassell season. I know that's crazy when Brady got hurt because I enjoyed. Once he got hurt, what could you do? I enjoyed that Cassell was a running quarterback, and I've always enjoyed Grogan.
Yeah.
I like running quarterbacks, and I think that would be a lot of fun. My concern with Daniels is that he's too thin. and
Obviously, you want to sign Cam Newton to a 15-year contract.
I know I like running quarterbacks.
Did you see the fight Cam Newton was in the other day?
Oh, my
7-on-7?
How do
I
you
didn't.
fight Cam Newton? He's, when I went to a
He's
game,
still huge.
yeah,
giant.
when you see Cam Newton on the field, he looks like the biggest guy on the field. And I mean, really,
Yeah.
He looks like a
Cam Newton-
defensive, he looks like a tight end is what he looks
No,
like.
he actually looks like an Avenger.
yeah, I
That
know.
was
He
crazy.
does. He just threw those guys like they were nothing.
And they were big guys
They were
too.
big guys, and he wasn't at least been intimidated that three guys were
No.
attacking him.
His hat never came off,
No, he
Scotty.
did.
Yeah, that's what I loved.
I know.
I gotta watch this. I haven't seen it.
He wasn't yelling. He wasn't screaming. He wasn't upset. He was like, "Okay, guys," and he just throwing them around. I mean, he's just
It
literally
was
tossing them.
7-on-7 football, Tim, for 15 and 16-year-olds. He's involved in that. And there was a real squabble. They all had to get kicked out.
No, but what was he signing autographs? Because he was like under a tent.
Yeah, he was just standing there. He didn't seem to be, he wasn't facing them when they went after him.
Okay,
He
can I just-
turned when they came, but that was it.
so when the kid comes to punch him, is he defending Newton or is he trying to punch Cam Newton too? You know that the one kid comes into the video?
I think he was defending Newton.
Oh, okay. All right. Because then there was a fourth guy. I'm like, okay, now it may be even if there's four guys against Cam Newton. Yeah, Timmy, you have to see the video.
I'm gonna check it out
I
soon.
can't believe you're seeing it.
Yeah, just hit Cam Newton 7-on-7.
It was very. Thank you for bringing it up. That was.
They
funny.
say he's the sweetest guy in the world too.
Oh yeah, I mean he's Cam Newton. And he'd still be with the Patriots if I had my way.
If Scotty was the GM, he'd
All right.
still be taking the
I
snap.
remember sitting there in that restaurant in Brookline eating
Hamilton.
Scotty's talking and I'm just eating through the whole show.
Naughty.
Scotty's saying, "We gotta sign him for 50."
Well,
I
this
don't-
breaking news from the
Kevin,
Grandstanders
yeah,
podcast.
there's too big. Okay, go ahead.
Mac Jones is not going to be with the Patriots next year. Like all the rumors that there's like literally zero chance. And then somebody said, some executive, whatever, phony, whatever they made up, they said that you might be able to get a 4th-round pick from Mac Jones. Oh my God, he could come on my back and I'll walk him to whatever city.
They're
No,
trying
I
that. They're trying to
don't think that's
sell
true.
that so that maybe someone will give him a 5th or a 6th. You're probably not getting nothing for him.
7th-round pick.
You know,
At
he's not
best,
a-
at best, that's the best you're gonna get.
he's not a football player. He doesn't have
Yeah.
the spine for it, I think.
Nowhere. All right.
And
Right.
Mayo's already before they shut Mayo up, he'd already said there's no place for him next year.
All
You
right,
know what I
Russ,
could
let's start. How
I
about
could just imagine Mac Jones the huddle going, "Come on, guys, come on, let's go,
Come on, you guys.
oh, that face he had when he was
Stop letting them hit me, stop
when he
it."
got hurt. All right, let's start with Russ. What do we get for a pick? What
Oh,
round?
for Mac Jones, like, be lucky to get a 5th. I think a 5th or a 6th.
Okay, Timmy,
6 comes into my head.
6. Just save. Yes, some team may take pity on the Patriots, so they have to save a little face. Joe,
The only way you'd get a 5th or a 6th is if you're swapping. You're trading your 5th or your 6th with him.
that's what I was going to tell you. So right.
It's a
Rowan-
7.
Rowan-
It comes down to a 7th rounder for him would be the best possible thing you could get from him.
Yeah, I
Bruins
think
are winning 3-0. Let's see how quick they give up 3 goals.
I think you get a 2028 7th-round pick. Just something. Forget about it.
Now, how much dough did Mac Jones make? How much has he made already?
He made a lot of money.
This is his completion of his
Fourth year.
3rd year, so he made at
And
least
this is
50
guaranteed. This year's guaranteed too. Scott.
So he'll make 20 million.
All right, if he had, hopefully, he tucked some of that away.
Bailey Zappi's gone too. I just want to mention, not that you even remembered his name, probably, but they're just going to sign a veteran quarterback. From what is said today, sign a veteran quarterback and then pick the 3rd quarterback.
Do you think you get more for Zappy than you can get from Mac?
You get nothing for Zappi.
Nothing.
They've already proven it. They dropped him. They cut him.
You'd probably get more for Zappy than Mac because you don't have to pay him as much.
Joe, they cut Zappi and nobody picked him up.
Right.
They
If they
put him on
cut
the
Mac, no
practice
one would have
squad
picked him up
and nobody
either.
picked him up. Nobody's giving you anything for Bailey Zappi. Why would they want, literally, why would they want our shit? There's not, no, just get rid of him. let's start over here. Russ, you had mentioned that the Patriots were emphasizing, and you think that in the free agency that they'll emphasize young.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of listen to trying to read between the lines and just think about the position they're in, this there's almost nothing that's going to happen that's going to get this team into the AFC Championship game in the next year or two. So don't go sign a bunch of like late stage veteran free agents. Sign younger free agents
Yeah.
and develop them and re-sign them. I just think like it's going to be what's the earliest you could imagine them being the AFC Championship game? 3 years from now, maybe?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Well, the NFL, you can turn it around in the NFL quicker than any other league, I believe. I think the NBA takes like 5 or 6 years. It's like an ascension, kind of like the Celtics are going through right now. Every year you see a couple of NFL teams come out of nowhere, come out of the cellar and do pretty good.
Look, you want
the Patriots have to spend at least $100 million on free agents.
You know what?
$100 million minimum to reach the floor in re-signing their players and signing free agents. 100 million is the absolute minimum. If they don't spend that much, they got to give the money back to the Players Association.
You know what always goes along with a team coming out of the cellar is the quarterback who's performing great for that team.
Yeah. Well, look, you want to look the progression that the Texans made last year in making the playoffs and stuff. That's the dream scenario, right? Of a team that's starting over. But really, it's year 2 you'd want to be where the Texans were year 1.
Right. Like, what's the narrative? What's the most likely positive narrative next year? Like, for me, they draft a young quarterback. They sign an aging, they sign a veteran. The young quarterback gets in game 7, game 8. They end up winning 5 games, 6 games, but playing a lot of young guys. They're coming on a little bit, competitive games, and you feel good about them going into next year. And they get a high draft pick again.
Yeah.
Do you remember before Bledsoe when he was here? I forget, it was the second year maybe, but I don't even think we made the playoffs, but they finished strong.
They did. Yeah. That's exactly right.
They finished like we won like 5 out of the last 6 or something like that. And you could see that they were coming together.
Yep.
I couldn't wait for the next year.
That's the year I want next year.
Yeah. And you saw guys like Brewski.
Sign me up.
I lost.
Young guys.
They should be able to add a lot of talent. They've got a lot of draft capital this year too, and they've got a lot of money. They should be able to, expand the timeline at least by 2 years. Go 2 years faster than most and almost any other team in the league.
I would not be shocked if they move Judon.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
Because I don't think this is what I think with the team the next Patriots team that goes to the playoffs, I don't think Judon's on it.
I don't think Judon's on it. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Right.
And then you get out of his deal.
Right.
I don't know what Belichick was doing, just paying him extra money last year. It was just stupid. Right. Belichick did a lot of stupid things. And
they've already they've already dumped Guy. They've already dumped Phillips. Those are guys who are in their early 30s, late 20s, like early 30s, who were not going to be a part of the next good Patriots team.
Yeah. Brent Brown won't be back, but they have the wherewithal to re-sign Duggar and Uche and to be able to compete with anyone. And there's a lot of good wide receivers. Well, that's something I'll predict. They will go out and sign a top wide receiver. They've got the money. They got no excuse not to. If they draft a quarterback, they got to give them someone.
Okay, starting with Timmy, what could you get for Judon? Could you get a 2nd-round pick? And a contending team obviously would probably be interested. So it'd be a late 2nd.
Well, he's a great player. I mean, he's a force out there. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know if that team with cap space, right?
Yeah, it's a big contract.
So Russ,
2nd or 3rd round, yeah, probably.
Joe?
Yeah, and there's a lot more money this year than that they thought was going to be. So a lot of
Yeah.
teams will be spending.
Was that
You know,
really
if you
because
get,
of
if you get,
Taylor
if you,
Swift?
you get a
What's that?
team that's kind of like they're good and they're just kind of missing that position.
Yeah.
You could see to put
Do you
them over
think
the
they
hump because
sign?
he's a
I don't think they're gonna sign Uche.
No, I
Why
don't
would
think
you
so.
do that? He can only play on third down. I mean, he
Yeah.
couldn't play on a bad team last
Oh,
year.
well, if it's going to be short money, why not?
Yeah.
Why
He's on the-
train someone? And what's his name? Mayo, the head coach, was the linebackers coach. If he likes him, he'll keep him.
Yeah, Uche didn't. He played pretty well 2 years ago. He had a stretch where he played well, but last year, I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't do it.
I don't think he set the edge very well when he was out
No.
there. They used to run around his end a lot, and people and teams usually don't run right.
Yeah, I don't think Uche's a keeper. I would like for them to keep Tuger and Owenu. I think that
Oh, I loved both
Yeah.
of them.
there's
I
no
think
reason why not to keep them.
they've got the money and they've got the whole.
All right, before we leave the Patriots, I love this. The Patriots are throwing out rumors. Devontae Parker may be available. If you 31 teams are out listening to the Grandstanders right now, Devontae Parker may be available. I'll say this as many times as possible. Oh my God, he can't be on the team next year, can he? I mean, geez.
I hope not.
how about Juju Smith-Schuster?
Nope.
They're going to
No
cut him
thanks.
too, clearly, right? Please tell me
Please.
they're going to.
Please.
I can't have any of
What a
that.
horrible
No,
sign.
they-
What a
the
How about
horrible
the
problem
other
with
Devontae, Devontae Adams?
The
Hey,
problem
did
with Schuster, the problem with Schuster is you cut him, you have a huge dead cap hit. So you either have to trade him or suck it up. Like,
I would
Hey,
trade him and give like a 6th-round pick in addition to take some of the cap hit.
Hey, did I hear Henry might be franchised?
No,
No.
I'm
He's
done.
not
I'm
worth it.
done
I
with-
thought I heard someone mention that on the radio today.
Henry has no value. I would imagine they
Yeah.
could get him for 1 year, $5 million. I mean, does anyone really? He was a nothing burger last year, don't you think?
Well, he was
Well,
Mac's favorite when
yeah, I
Mac
mean, the
bothered to
thing
throw.
about it is though, Scotty, there aren't very many even decent tight ends, and I think he's still considered to be a decent tight end. Like the cap number, I think is like $12 million for the franchise tag. So I don't know. Who knows? If they decide not to franchise either of the other guys or they sign them both and they've got a franchise thing lying around.
Well, it wouldn't know when you be franchised as a guard. He wouldn't get the big dough.
All I know is his tag is 20 million. His
Oh, it
franchise
is.
tag.
Oh, I thought it was 16. Okay, all
No,
right.
it's 20.
Well, I think you tag them and then you continue to negotiate with them.
They usually tag the cheaper guy. There's no sense in tagging like quarterbacks. We've all seen what happened to Washington tagging quarterbacks.
Remember, these players don't want to be tagged, obviously.
No, because you get no guarantee. You could
Yeah.
get hurt, and that's the end of your career.
Yeah, well, they obviously get guarantee of that year, Joe. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
that 1
right.
year. But wouldn't you rather have a 5-year contract with the first 3 guaranteed?
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to the Boston Red Sox, for which we're all season ticket
Yeah.
holders. Look, they refuse. The Red Sox is so cheap right now. Apparently, they refuse to have like sign guys on veterans on minor league deals right now. They don't even want to give like bus fare to people.
They negotiate with guys that they're signing minor league deals with. They're fussing with that. That's what one of the agents was saying. Usually they just signed them, to the boilerplate, and that was it. Now they're dickering.
What's going on here?
And then, now they don't want they want to get rid of Chance's contract.
Yeah, and he's been talking like he would not have come to the Red Sox
If he'd
this
known.
had been the case. I have a new theory about John Henry.
Wait. What's going on? Like,
Well, the new theory. Let's hear it.
I know you're going to disagree with me. John Henry is a billionaire. He doesn't like to be criticized. The Red Sox fans have been criticizing him. This is a big fuck you to them. He doesn't give a shit. It's a line item to him, but he's doing it deliberately, sabotage the team this year. They'll still put some money in their pocket. Fuck you to you. I'm gonna.
Oh, I think there's some credence to that.
There's no reason, because he doesn't even care about. I mean, if you invest $30 million in a Montgomery right now, I think you get that back 2, 3, 4-fold in ticket sales, revenue, whatever necessary. And he doesn't care because he doesn't even want to compete. This is freaking Major League. This is literally the movie Major League. We're living Major League right now.
Well, I'll give you
Jets
some
always
good
change.
news. Here's some good news, Scotty. Did you see John Lester at
Oh,
the Red Sox
I was
training
gonna
camp
get to that.
in
Hold
the
on.
Red Sox kit?
I was gonna get that. I already have a nice big poster of him today holding a cup of coffee with his Red Sox hat.
Talking to Pedro
And
and,
actually
and the
looks
Red
pretty
Sox
good.
sweats.
He looks slim. He looks good.
But
Yeah.
so they don't even want to. They're already like not going out and getting anyone. They want to get rid of people that
Yeah.
are getting a half decent paycheck right now.
Yes. They want
Oh,
to get what?
even at the AAA level, they're dickering with these guys.
Yeah. Russ, what is happening? No,
Look, you could be right. We've also talked about that they've got a lot of other interests. There's there's also another thing, and the one thing that I think you can say about these guys is they've always wanted to be sort of like the smartest people in the room types, right? And I wonder if they're sitting there saying, well, we're gonna zig while all these others are zagging. We're gonna show the league how we can build the kind of operation that could win a World Series and be under the threshold or something. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's
I'll
just
buy that too.
arrogance and ego involved in it.
I'll buy that too, but you can't charge the most for tickets in the league.
Well, if people beat
People are
down the
paying it.
door like they're going to Disney World all summer long, you know?
but
How
he
many-
is.
Like,
If people
guys,
if people go, they're right.
they stunk last year, and by and large, we were able to sell our tickets on the secondary market. By and large,
Not for face value.
The
I don't
summer,
sell
maybe
that.
the summer, yeah, but not
during the summer, at the end of the year, it tanked. But like,
Well, wait. Were you guys getting face value, or were you making money?
no, I'm just talking about face value. Like, we
All
were
right, the Bruins and the Celtics, you make money
yeah.
Well,
But my
they're in
point
first
is
place.
that it just
all
goes to
day.
show
No,
you.
even when the Bruins aren't doing that well, you make money.
It just goes to show you, though, throughout the entire summer, they can get people into that building when they were crappy.
right. But
all
April,
season.
May, and September is a problem for them.
Yeah,
But Russ, doesn't that translate into TV ratings too, though? I mean, it's not just the
Yeah,
people
look,
putting their
but-
butts in the
Oh,
seat.
yeah.
That's only a
by the way,
fraction of it, right?
Timmy, I'm not agreeing with them. I'm just wondering if this is ego. Like, we're going to show these guys, we want to do it our way. We're going to build blah, blah, blah. You know how they are. He's a hedge fund guy. He thinks he's the smartest person in the world.
But can you imagine?
He wrote that algorithm.
Can you imagine a shareholders meeting where the CEO comes to the shareholders meeting and never speaks to the shareholders? He went to him and his trophy wife went to spring training the first day, paraded themselves around with their little tight jeans, and never spoke to the shareholders. Refused to speak to the shareholders.
Well, they refused to speak to the media.
Well, that's the shareholders, Joe. That's the customers. He's speaking to the customers. They're just
Weren't they
messenger.
signing fan autographs?
Come on, a couple
25 people, Joe.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, but
You know what the
that's
point I'm. You know what the point I'm
he
getting.
wasn't going to answer questions. He
There's
said.
no CEO who will go to a shareholders meeting, Russ, right, and not
No.
address the shareholders. He is so arrogant, and going there with his trophy wife was a fuck you to the Red Sox. I'm gonna come there. I'm gonna parade around for an hour or two. I'm not gonna say a word, and I'm gonna leave. And that's the last you'll see of me. That was theater, and it was absurd.
Now, would
And
you
that
say the
trophy
Patriots,
wife is the boss of a third of the people there.
the Patriots are worth more than the Red Sox, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Bob Kraft is engaging with the community all the time.
I don't know if that's completely true.
Well, the Fenway Sports Group's worth a lot more than the Patriots.
Fenway, they
They
probably.
own a
I'm
bunch
gonna,
of teams, though, Joe. I mean,
What?
Right. They own a bunch of teams.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the Patriots are probably worth more, but Red Sox are worth a pretty penny. I would
Oh
imagine
yeah.
$5
Yeah,
billion.
but I mean, just look at the difference of engagement with the community. Kraft versus him, though. It's just-
Absolutely, he doesn't care at all.
Kraft's at these schools in Roxbury opening daycares and things like that. And John Henry's never
Yeah,
to be seen.
But no daycare for the Patriots players. Did you see that?
Oh, but how about Sam Kennedy this week saying that the Red Sox do not make a profit, And then he's just
Oh, yeah, he's full of it. Today he was saying, "Don't sleep on the 2024 Red Sox. You're
So
making a mistake."
the Patriots are estimated to be worth 7 billion and the
Yeah.
Red Sox 4.5 billion.
okay. So yeah,
40, 50, 60% more, 70% more.
$4.5 billion, and he refuses to sign Jordan Montgomery, who is literally here with his wife. Is what, in a 2-year residency? So literally, he's going to obviously take a pay cut so he can be with his wife and play for the Red Sox, and they still won't do it.
I don't think he's taking a. Scott Boras doesn't take pay cuts.
Well, he just
He
look
does what his customer tells him, what his client tells him to do.
look that
Yeah,
Belichick.
if he does, but it is so far. There's been no talk of pay cuts. There is Montgomery is supposedly open to negotiating the length of the contract, but not the money of it.
What would you give Russ? What would you give Montgomery to bring him in here? 3 years, 25.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, something like that. 3 years,
He wants
Yeah.
8 though.
Nobody's giving him 8 years.
no one's giving him 8. He's the 30
Because
something.
why
Now
give him
wants
2
10.
Give him 2 for 30, right?
But then Montgomery, he's
I'm
only
with
one.
you. Overpay him for a shorter amount of years. Just
Yeah, 3 years is the max I want to give an over 30 pitcher.
But again, Montgomery, I think, has only won 10 games, the most
Yeah.
in one season. Which
But it's kind of like Evaldi. When going gets tough, he gets going. You
Well,
know?
By the way, the
isn't
Red
he a
Sox-
ground ball hitter? He's a ground ball pitcher, right?
By the way, the Red Sox were
No.
bought
Home runs.
for under 450 million, so it's worth 10 times what they bought
Yeah.
it for.
yeah.
And they're worth probably $5 million more since the show started today. Then they're probably increased in value $5 million.
And how much money have they made from the Boston Red Sox?
Ah.
It's billions, billion profit that they put in
Yeah.
their pocket. Profit. And
Never mind the real estate all around the park.
And Henry's what, 75 years old? What, apparently he's living forever. So basically he's doing this so trophy wife can like end up marrying the landscaper. That's pretty much it. Thanks. So we should all suffer. So that happens. And I'm just worried about her because I know she's been up late night publishing the Globe every night and just worried
Well, that's
about
what she's not changing his diaper.
making sure the printing's going well. And
Just amazing. Like, just imagine how badly they effed up over a long period of time to get 4 of us turned against the ownership that gave us 4 World Series.
yeah. Uh-huh.
It's
Right.
legitimate. I'm pissed. Like, I'm furious at this ownership. And that just means that's how badly they had to screw up to turn the 4 of us who
Yeah.
lived through the 4 World Series.
Sitting in those crappy tight seats in Section 8.
Everything
And
ended.
they could have done this back during COVID. You know, when no one gave a rat's ass what was happening over at Fenway Park, they could have cut the payroll to 0, and no one was going to the games anyways, and done it then. But no, they got to wait now when the whole world is watching again.
Everything changed when they got rid of Mookie Betts. The day they get rid of
Yep.
Mookie Betts,
I'm totally with you on that.
changed that.
It's
changed,
like the Rubicon.
That's
What do you
Babe
think
Ruth.
changed the fall? Did Sandoval have a lot to do with that deal?
No,
And also Sale? Did they just get sick
Well,
of paying
well,
guys
no,
that were
it's
The
Yeah.
scared?
mistakes they made with Sandoval and Price, yes, that has something to
he
do.
could have. He still could have paid them. What did you just end up? It was
Yeah.
just a money thing. And come on, Mookie Betts. I mean, this is exactly what you would develop. You have a Red Sox development to get this incredible athlete, player, wonderful person off the field, a black player that the Red Sox have had a shortage of in the history of their franchise. What else did you want?
They haven't signed anyone since except for Devers. They
And
re-upped
financially,
Devers.
the Red Sox are one of the big boys on the block financially too.
It was just, it's crazy. I mean, all right. The irony is we're going to talk about John Lester, and that is another
Wait.
insane
That's
move.
what's driving
What
us
near
nuts.
and dear to your heart.
You know what's driving us nuts? We have grown up our whole life with the Red Sox. We're going toe to toe with the Yankees. Maybe not quite toe to toe dollar wise, but we were always playing in the big leagues, right? We were one of the premier market teams, and now we're not. That's what hurts. We're
No,
not
he's
used to that. We're just
No,
not
but-
used to it.
But look, we gave away John Lester. John freaking Lester. I mean, again, this huge, big guy, cancer survivor, incredibly clutch guy, a lefty starting pitcher, developed, nicest guy in the world. How can you not re-sign him? I mean, what are we even doing here? Why did we unlock the doors of Fenway?
Don't worry, he's back in the fold now, Scotty.
Again, John Henry lucked out, Russ, by winning 4. Remember, we were in 4 World Series and we won all of them. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, that's something. And we played the Colorado
Right.
Rockies. We
Right.
played
But-
shitty St.
but
Louis
wait a minute,
Cardinal
though, like,
teams.
He was a very aggressive early on. I mean,
Yeah.
Manny going to get Kurt Schilling. I mean, they were extremely aggressive. He paid the money. He went and got stars and paid the money for stars who were at the top of the market. He did that. Like,
We did.
he paid that.
He paid for a new shortstop, whoever Theo fell
Right.
in love with every year. He'd go
Right.
out and buy him a new shortstop every year, top of the market.
He behaved like a Red Sox owner should behave.
Exactly. For a
He
long
was
time.
he was a competitor of George Steinbrenner's
Yeah,
back.
and then
Because the
after
pack was
2018
packed. The pack was packed every night, and they were all turning the
Right,
Red Sox
but-
on at 7 o'clock every night.
And then he stopped after 2018, Scotty. Like,
Yeah.
he just stopped. That
Yeah.
was it. It was over. He got the 4th, and they just decided, do we really need to win more World Series to make these people happy?
That's exactly right. And they had the best team in the history of the Red Sox. Nobody
Yeah.
could argue that in 2018.
And 2
And
years later,
losing
it was
Mookie was
gone.
the start of it. Next
It
thing you
was
know,
gone.
they're all gone.
Right.
Yeah. And now, why did Craig Breslow again? I know we got to go to the Bruins. Why did Craig Breslow take the job? I'm serious now. I mean,
Well, probably pretty good money. He's making a lot more money.
He,
than he was
and he
making as
can
assistant
he
GM
lives in
Chicago.
Newton, just don't have to commute to Chicago.
Top executive position in what has traditionally been one of the premier teams of the league.
Even if you get fired from this, you get a job right away.
I just think
Dombrowski is the king of Philly now.
he already seems over his head. That's why little Sammy keeps on talking. And every time Sammy talks, he puts his foot in his mouth.
It used to be the general manager that talked. Then it was the president of baseball operations talk. Now it's Sam Kennedy talking.
Yeah. Well, Heim used to talk. I mean, Heim wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, but I mean, Scotty,
Heim
yeah,
would
I
have
know, but
Breslow.
Heim was the president of baseball operations. When Theo was here, he did all the talking. Lucchino once in a while would pipe up, but you didn't hear much from him.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Lucchino
And
was
then-
the president then.
And then when Heim came, Heim talked, and Brian O'Halloran, you didn't hear a peep out of him. And then now it's Sam Kennedy yapping.
Breslow's afraid to say a proper noun. He literally is afraid to say. He won't say anything. I mean, for a guy who's played in the major leagues for all those years, he's actually frightened of the mic. I'm shocked by it.
I'm sure he's afraid of stepping on a landmine, Scotty.
Yeah, I think that's right, Timmy. I think
This
that's
is
probably right.
it's disgusting. I can't.
These sports writers are waiting for any trip up by any of them to plaster it on this. Of the John
And
Henry.
Sam
owned
isn't
Boston
afraid of falling flat in his
Yeah.
face.
on the John Henry on Boston Globe sports page, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, to follow up with you before we go to the Bruins, Timmy, they might as well trade Jansen. See what they can
I
get
totally
for.
agree.
Yeah, I
What's the
agree.
point?
There's no reason to have this guy. He doesn't. Every day he's saying he doesn't want to be on the team anymore. They lied to me. This is not what he bought into. So the last thing you want is a disgruntled guy when you have a lot of young players. Just get rid of him. See if you can pick up a quality minor league player and move on and just put Whitlock in the bullpen. I mean, and make him your closer.
Well, they've said that Whitlock, Stinky Winky, and Tanner Houck, the three of them are competing for that last rotation spot.
Yeah, just
I don't see any of them as a starter.
Why do you hate Winkowski? I like him a lot.
He was terrible as a starter. He's fine as a reliever.
No, he's a good reliever.
I'm fine with him as
Yeah.
a reliever. I don't want him starting ever again.
Just put Houck in there. He's painful to watch. Oh my God, he quit.
For
so
his
much.
4 1/3 innings.
He
You know?
we watched those games in September. He quit like nobody. He would throw one pitch and he'd be looking at the dugout and go, "Is that enough?" He quit like he's a dog. That guy, I can't stand him. You know, I don't want him hurt or anything, but if a ball hits him again in the face, it's all right with me. I didn't do it. So
Jesus.
I'm just, no.
Scotty, if you want to see a dog,
Wow.
it's the guy I like best is Brian Bayo. Look at his last 3 games last year.
Oh, hey, Bayo, listen to us, and he now is bilingual. He now
I think he's quadlingual.
Well,
He
all I'm
speaks
worried about
English,
is English.
French,
I could care less what-
English, French, Dutch,
Shot and
and
jive.
one more.
How do you know that?
They had it in the paper the other
All
day.
right, okay, all right.
He's like Xander. He's from Curacao, I think.
Is that right?
So he's one of those Dutch islands, like Aruba.
All right, we're gonna wrap up with the Bruins, and we always go with
They're
Timmy.
winning 3-1 right now. Okay, they were winning 3-0. It's 3-1. Does anyone doubt that this game goes into overtime?
I have no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
4 of the last 6 games, they've been leading in the third period and lost.
What is wrong with
Leading
that?
going into the third.
What
period.
are they doing wrong in the third period that's causing this?
I have no idea.
None.
None? Is it a defensive breakdown?
No, it's a mentality, and I think a lot of teams fall into it. Like in football, you go to the prevent defense. A lot of times in hockey games, you get a 1-goal lead. You're just trying to get the puck out of the zone. Get the puck out of the zone. You stop going offensive, right? You just suddenly go flip it out. And what do they always say?
The worst is a 2-goal
offense, right?
Although, probably it's probably where they miss Bergeron the most, right?
Yeah.
Think about how many games in Bergeron's career do you think he saved them from getting tied up in the third period? A lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, look at the face-offs. It's incredible. They're losing 60% of the face-offs, and they're losing like 65% in their own end, where you have the advantage.
I can't believe Russ didn't mention Krejci.
Oh, I was going to get to that.
No.
I was getting there. I
He's-
was winding my way there.
We're gonna pull them out of the Czech league.
Winding my way there.
Vegas last week had the Bruins the number 2 favorite to win the cup.
Yeah, well,
A lot of that is people betting, that don't know.
does this force Sweeney to make moves that he may not have made?
I don't think, I think they're just going to take whatever comes this year. They really have no cap money. They're probably, I don't know, if they keep going, they just seem to be in a funk right now. You know what I mean? They're losing games in overtime and shootouts, and they're competing with anyone. A lot of puck luck. They do have this horrible habit of spitting the lead up at the end. I mean, it's really like it's historic, really, at the rate they're doing it. But they're not getting blown out by anybody. They're in every game.
So, Timmy, let me ask you the toughest question, though. I've asked this before. Olmark is signed for 1 more year after this one. Would you trade Olmark if you could get something good back that could increase your odds of winning it this year?
Oh, you know what? I don't think I go all in for this year, Russ. I don't. I think keep them around for another. I think next year they'll be in a better position.
Okay.
Even though they're doing okay this year, you know what I mean? But I think you keep them around. I think next year they'll be stronger than this year. I mean, God knows what could happen this year. I mean, they're in a little bad trend right now, but they're in every game. Hockey's a crazy sport. A deflection off a stick, off a skate. But what troubles me is this trend of giving leads up so much at the end of the game.
Well, I think it's because it's a young team. And, like you just said, play for the future. I really don't see this as a Stanley Cup caliber team, given it's not just lately they're blowing leads and losing in overtime. This has gone back to the first week of the season.
But Joe, tell me a team in the league that they would have to face right now, where you wouldn't give them a fair shot of winning the series.
No, okay, but not 16, not gonna win 16 games.
But
They
there
can
is,
get through a round or two. So
Well, you take
why
one, you
not
take one,
trade Almach
take
for
what-
future considerations?
this two-headed monster goalie is a good thing.
Yeah,
There's
well,
no
you know, maybe it's time to bring up Brandon Bussey. He had a very good year down there, and he looked good in the preseason. And next year, Almach's not going to have that kind of value because he'll be a rental.
but the trades that have been made close to the deadline have not been great returns.
No. Well, a lot of times like the Bruins have to get future considerations for the most part because of the salary cap situation. They
I think
can't take on anyone.
Olmark would be a bar of gold if you put him out there on the market.
Or Grizzlick or DeBrusque.
Yeah,
No, but
Olmark
Olmark
is at a
especially.
level above those guys, Joe.
Yeah, he
Well,
would
well,
just,
yeah, I
he would take
agree,
some
but
team,
they-
some
those
great
are-
team with
those
great
are other
goaltending
names to throw it.
and put them in a different category.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I think they're going to stand pat. I think they're going to go for it.
I think.
The idea that there's no great team in the NHL right now
Yeah,
here, and why not them?
like I said,
Yeah,
who
but
do you
Scotty,
pick
if
a
you were
team in the
gonna-
NHL? Who do you
Yeah,
worry about?
I don't know. I'm like, if you think that, then go do something to get better. If you think you have a shot to win it.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
Grant-
No, but part of the reason I can say that is because of these two goalies, though, Russ.
Yeah, look, it's a huge risk. I don't think it's a no-brainer, but you could also say Swayman is better than, 85 to 90% of the other number one goalies. Bring up a second goalie and ride Swayman through the whole playoffs and hope.
Did I hear a stat about Swayman, though? When he has to play a lot, he degrades.
Yeah, you may.
He's not consistent, but that's because he's young. Maybe
That's true, then, it's obviously been not the reason to do it, but I don't know.
It
You're
would
not
be
getting anything good.
unprecedented to trade a guy like Elmark
oh yeah.
at the
That's
deadline
shocking.
when you are competing for a cup. Though it's never been done
You
before.
know, if somebody dangled like 3 or 4 first-round picks in front of me,
But that would be
I might
giving
think
up
Like
on
the Kessel trade. The Kessel trade was a great one.
But
Remember?
that would be giving up the team.
3-2, 3-2.
That would be giving up on the team. Russ, wouldn't that be giving up on the team this year if you get
No,
No.
Scotty, to me, the risk would be, you'd basically say, look, Swayman's a number one goalie. There've been plenty, most of the times in Boston Bruins, in any Stanley Cup champions history, they wrote a number one goalie. So we're going to take number 1B, get something better to make the team better. It's a legitimate logic.
So you guys are saying that you get more at this deadline right now than waiting till the offseason for Elmark.
If you think you can win the Stanley Cup, then you should.
Mm.
I don't know.
And there's a
That's
lot
the
of
hard
teams
part.
will think they can win the Stanley Cup with an increase in their goaltending capacity.
I would dangle them out there to Timmy's point and see what you can get. Like if you
Oh,
can get
definitely.
something big, then do the math.
It has to be the Western
Grizzlick
Conference.
are rentals, so they
If
won't
somebody
get
just
near
comes
it.
in, somebody just comes in and blows you away with an offer, you have to listen.
But a Western Conference team, they're not sending him.
I would
where they
assume
could-
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that hurts the market right there. You cut it in half, and then
Calgary's desperate not to have to end up in Houston right now. They'd love them.
all right.
Well,
All right,
couldn't you get Noah Hannafin for him?
Well, you'd have to trade Ulmark then because that'd be
That's what I'm saying.
he's 4.5 million.
Right. That's my point. If you
No,
go-
Noah makes,
that.
Noah makes pretty
You
good
would've
money.
picked that
Noah
up,
makes
yeah.
pretty good
He
money, right?
changed Tim's mind there.
And I think Hannafin is going to want a lot of money too. I don't think he's signed. I think he's going to be a free agent
So
pretty
you'd
soon.
have to sign him. That would want to be one of those Lindholm home deals. You'd have to sign him before he ever puts on a Bruins sweater.
Speaking
I-
of, any word, any rumors about
Wait,
Lindholm if he's coming back?
Noah Hannafin's parents are from JP. You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, no, he's coming back soon. Apparently,
He's not had a good year.
no. Well, he can make up for in the playoffs. All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.